Okay, this is part two of my blood clotting experience. So, in my last video, I was talking about my first blood clotting experience that occurred in 1997. That was possibly provoked by me using birth control pills. Uh, and so, 1997. I had my first blood clotting experience. Okay, and then I got better, and I went some years. I would say from 1990, what was it, 97 or 98? From 1998 all the way to 2015. So in this video, I will talk about my second blood clotting experience. And so I would say that with my second blood clotting experience, I had a little bit more symptoms prior uh, to experiencing any symptoms of blood clot. And so with my second blood clot occurred, the reoccurrence that happened in 2015, I remember at first I was having problems. I would say around August of 2015, I was having problems with just coughing, nonstop coughing. And so I went to the ER about that, and I never thought that it could possibly be because of a blood clot. But I went to the ER because 2015 August 2015, I was coughing so bad my throat was all red. And so the ER said that it was something else. What they tell me, I forget. But the ER at the time did not diagnose me with. They didn't find any blood clot. At first they looked at me and they didn't find any blood clots, and so they said it was something else. I forget what they said. And so, but anyway, I went to the ER in August of 2015. Um, because I was having problems with coughing real bad. My throat was all red and all that. And so that continued on. And I remember also one of the problems that I was having was that I was starting to feel uh fatigue. And I remember because I'm the person that likes to cut my own lawn because I save a lot of money when I cut my own lawn. And so I was cutting my lawn, and when I cut my lawn, I once I start get going and cutting my lawn, I don't like to stop until I'm done. But I was cutting my lawn, and I had to stop because I was feeling fatigue. And I was like, whoa, what is wrong with me? And then the fatigue it started getting worse. It's like even a walk to the mailbox, I was getting fatigue. And I was like, what is going on? And what is going on with me? I didn't know what, couldn't pinpoint what was going on with me. And so as time rolled on around that's when I started having symptoms of a blood clot. My legs started swelling up. I get the Charlie horse. And it was in this time, my other leg, my first clot was in my right leg, this leg that down at the calf. And my second clot was in my left leg down at my calf. And so yeah. My leg started swelling up, and my leg was swelling up so bad. I remember at the time I was going to church. I didn't. At the time, 2015, I was going to church, and I didn't hardly miss any Sundays of church. But I was so sick. I was so sick. I couldn't. I couldn't even get up to go to church. And I remember that Sunday, and and so I stayed home, and I was due to go into work also that Sunday night. And so uh, Sunday night I did go, even though I wasn't feeling well. I went into work and my leg was all swollen up and it was painful. I don't know how I got through the day, and I was getting fatigued, and I didn't think I would make it through the day. Um, but I did go to work. The reason why I went to work because I couldn't miss any days because they said I had called off too much, and so uh, if I couldn't call off because I would have been getting in trouble for calling off, and so I went into work so I wouldn't face any disciplinary actions on the job, and so I just barely, I barely made it through work, and yeah, I was still coughing, and this time my left leg was swollen up, and I was kind of walking with a limp, and so. I at the time I was working the night shift, and as soon as I got off of work, it was about 7 o'clock a.m. I came home, and then as soon as I could, I made an appointment with the urgent care, and so at the time they couldn't see me until I contacted soon as urgent care opened up. I think it was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock that I was able to get into contact with somebody from the urgent care. And urgent care couldn't see me until it was like 3 o'clock. And so, yeah, I waited to around 3 o'clock, and then I went to urgent care. And that's when I finally got into the doctor's office at the urgent care. That's when they told me I would have to go to the hospital uh, because the doctor felt my leg, and I guess he felt, one of the signs when you're having a clot, when it's all swollen and stuff, it'd be warm to touch. And the doctor was able to feel that the leg was swollen. It was warm to touch, and so I was sent to the hospital, and I was given the order to expedite uh, uh, my experience at the hospital. So I arrived at the hospital. I actually had to drive myself to the hospital. In any case, I went to the hospital, and yeah. Soon as I go into the emergency room, they put me in the wheelchair, and of course they have to do the ultrasound. And as I said in my last video, the ultrasound is when they put that wand, and they put it they put it on your calf to, I guess, to look inside the veins, and they could tell if it's clotting. And so they did that, and yep, it was confirmed that I had a clot. So I had to sit around because at the time when I went to the hospital, they said they didn't have no rooms available. So I must have waited almost an hour, maybe 2 hours before they even was able to take care of me. Uh, the ultrasound had already confirmed that it was a clot, and and so I had to wait for a room. And then once I got into the room, they didn't start the IV because right away. I remember when I had my first clot, they did start the IV right away, but this time they didn't start the IV. I would say it wasn't. I I got up into my room about 6 o'clock, and they didn't start the IV till 11 o'clock at night. And so all that time, anything can happen. When you have a clot, the worst thing that can happen if the clot breaks up and then it travels to the lungs, and that's when you got problems. uh, but but they did come, and I think they came and they checked to see, because I was coughing and all that, to see if it was, took x-rays to look at my lungs, and said that uh, the x-rays looked okay. And so I waited and waited, and uh, I didn't get my IV. The first things they do when you're having a blood clotting ordeal is that you have to get hooked up to the IV, and then the IV disperse something in the veins to help dissolve and thin out the blood to dissolve the blood clots. And so I waited and waited, and they didn't get that done because they said they had to get hold to my doctor, and my doctor, they didn't get hold to my doctor, and then they were making some other excuses, saying they had to figure out the right dosage. They just can't give me the any kind of dosage into the IV. So they were working on figuring out the right amount of dosage to give me. And so, yeah, it wasn't until 11 o'clock at night. And then finally, 11 o'clock, I guess if one of the nurses was getting off and whatever. And so they finally got the IV started. And So I spent some time in the hospital. I think I spent like one or 2 days in the hospital trying to get better after my second clot. When I was in the hospital, then there was the doctor that came by the room and said that he was a hematologist. Now, I never heard of a hematologist because when I had my first clot, nobody told me, about, part of the follow up is following up with a hematologist. But I was in a hospital, and there was one of the doctors that came in the room and introduced himself to me, said that he was a hematologist, and that I needed to follow up with him. Uh, uh, and so he gave me his card, and I'm like, "Who is this man?" And I didn't even I didn't know, because he gave me his card and stuff, and so I was just wondering. I said, "Oh, that could be anybody." Somebody come up walking in the room telling you they're a hematologist. Real, right? And so, but Lord and behold, when I was discharged, uh, part of my instructions was to follow up with, guess who? The hematologist who visited my room, and left his card. So I was like, "Oh, that's the hematologist that came in the room." Yeah. So that was the first time. And he turned out to be a pretty darn good hematologist, Uh, and uh, and so I followed up. One of the things they had me, upon discharge, to follow up and to continue with the anticoagulants. Now this time here it was 2015, so I was getting discharged, and I remember when I had my first clot, uh, they did not tell me to. They didn't have the anticoagulants back in 1998 that they were giving me. Uh, with my second clot, and so I didn't have to worry about getting the leg injections as part of my aftercare because this time around they had the pills, and so they had the new pill out, and the new pill Eloquence, and so Eloquence is a I think there are two Eloquence and Exultra. Those are the two new anticoagulants on the market. I think there are other anticoagulants. But they had me, yeah, to take the Eloquence, which is the anticoagulant. And what anticoagulants do is that they said it prevents another clot from forming. And so I was taking a little bit of higher dosage uh, of Eliquis, and also was given an order to follow up with the hematologist. And so after my discharge, I said, yeah, I was going to try to do better and try to follow the doctor's orders because I didn't want to have another climate spares. I wanted to do this thing right. And so I did follow up with the hematologist, and the first thing the hematologist asked me, he said, "Well, why do you think you had the, why do you think you had the clot?" And I was like, I don't, I don't know why my clot reoccurred, and I didn't know why he was asking me that, because I didn't know why my clot reoccurred. I wasn't on birth control in 2015. And so there's usually, they say, a reason why the clot happens. And so at that time, he said he wanted me to do some blood work. Okay. And so I went in for blood work at the lab, and oh my God, the blood work, the amount of blood that they that they have to take, uh, the amount of blood that they have to take, it was a lot of blood. They just tubes full of blood, and so they took a lot of blood from me, and then after my lab was done, I had to go back to the hematologist, and the hematologist, the one I said was pretty good, he was a pretty good hematologist. Uh, he went over the lab work with me, and he well, one of the things that was counted out, it was that I didn't have a genetic defect. Some people who have blood clotting, uh, blood clots, they have a genetic disposition, or they genetically vulnerable for a clot. And the doctor looked, well, anyway, the doctor looked at my blood work and said that I had no genetic defects. Uh, but then the doctor showed me uh, some other things that was revealed in the blood work. And the other thing that I discovered was that I had a protein C deficiency, and there was something in uh I had I had, they called it lupus anticoagulant. uh Now when you think about lupus, you think, oh, you got lupus, but apparently this lupus anticoagulant has nothing to do with uh has nothing to do with lupus. And so I had those two areas that uh that revealed that there was an issue, and the doctor was telling me that it's a problem somewhere because of the liver or something was not producing enough of this protein, and so that's why there was a deficiency that was showing up in the blood work. And today, even today, I go in often, at least once a year, to get my blood checked. And yeah, there's always this deficiency. And so because there was a deficiency, uh, that means that I was more vulnerable to having another reoccurrence uh, with blood clots. And so that's the first time that I heard the doctor said that he was going to put me on medicine. And a lot of times I'm on a page with blood clot survivors. And a lot of things people talk about is being lifer on blood clot medicine. And so, yeah, the doctor said that I would have to take blood thinners for the rest of my life. And so he gave me two options, Either I could choose to take the thinners for the rest of my life, or I could choose not to take the thinners. But if I didn't take the thinner, then I was more at risk of having another clot. And so, yeah, at that time, I didn't want to I didn't want to uh, have another clot. And so, yeah, since 2015, since 2015, I've been on blood thinners and probably would have to take blood thinners for the rest of my life. And so, yeah, and I go see the doctor. Uh, Now it's just once a year because really there's nothing much they could do at this point uh, because right now the medicines is supposed to help to uh, to make it difficult for new clots to form, and so that's why I'm taking blood thinners. And so I would say from 2015 all the way to now, I haven't experienced any blood clotting symptoms. Um, that's why, as I said, one of the big things when you're a blood clot survivor, it's easy when you start feeling better to forget that you're a survivor, a blood clot survivor. And being a blood clot survivor, then there are certain precautions that you have to take. It's your medicine, and then you have to try to keep moving, and that's why I got a membership at the health club, but I have to admit I've been kind of lazy lately. I haven't been doing as much exercise. I know that's not good because being a blood clot survivor, you have to move. But I do you know do a lot of lawn work, do work in my lawn with my lawn. So that's exercise. And then I have a part-time job. Oh, I be working it at the part-time job. That's why one of the reasons why I be working hard at that job, as a part of my movement is a good thing for me. And also, when Compression socks. I got my compression socks on today. And that's one of the things that, because my leg was hurting me. My leg was, because I usually don't like to wear uh, compression socks, but compression socks do help, when you have it like pain in the leg. And so I wear compression socks. And so, this is what my video is about. Uh, this video was about my second experience with blood clots, and since 2015, I have not had any blood clots. But the thing about blood clots is that you never know what's going on inside the body. At one time, they were doing like the D-dimmer. They have this blood test that's called D-dimmer. And I thought that that was supposed to be able to monitor if your blood is clotting. But uh, since uh, since I changed doctors, because the last doctor I had, the one that was I said was an excellent doctor, left the network, and I had to switch up. Then I switched up, and I had a female doctor, and I didn't like the way she didn't have good, uh how can I say, the second hematologist that I went to didn't have good bedside manners, or some. So now I'm going to the third hematologist, and so you know uh, the third hematologist right now, and so yeah, it's like I have to go to the doctor, because if I don't go see the doctor, then they won't renew my blood thinners. And so the third doctor is very good about renewing my blood thinners, and uh, they do additional blood work. And so this is my blood clotting experience.